will get a notice. There. Okay, great. So we'll go ahead and share our screen here.
Oh, I think it's the raise your hand function.
Oh, sorry. Right. I've got
That's
the
okay.
wrong thing. That's okay.
That's okay. Not a problem.
So, well, just if you all just, I actually don't have a screenshot of this. If you just go to the lower left hand or right hand corner of your Zoom under reactions, there's the raise hand. We've got a couple of examples here. Pam, thank you for that. And then, and I've done it too. So I think you can do that, or of course, questions in the chat section, which Governor Kristi has just gone over. Perfectly fine to put your questions in there. And we can all now, if everyone's been done practicing, we can all lower your hands if you'd like. And I know you've got a lot of Zoom familiarity here, it looks like. So, but if you do have any technical questions, you can just drop them in chat to me and I will try to help you as I have time.
All right, thank you, Karen. So I would like to introduce tonight the region officers that are on the call. I first like to introduce Wendy Falkenstein. She is our Northwestern Region Secretary, and she just waved. Thank you, Wendy. Thanks for being on the call. Also with us tonight is our District Director from District 2, Chris Christensen. She's on the phone, or on the line. And then, of course, there's Karen. You saw Karen Marshall, our governor-elect. And of course, then there's me. I'm your governor. So I'd like to welcome you to our leadership Zoom class. So thank you for coming. All right, so I'm not real skilled at this Zoom stuff, but I did do a short poll. So this is kind of fun. So I'm going to see who's actually on the call. So you should see, does everybody see the poll? And this is, I want to know who's on the call. So if you're a first-time president, you're a seasoned president, you're secretary, you're treasurer, or you had nothing better to do tonight, go ahead and click on that. And we'll give you just a few minutes to answer the question. I have them about halfway. And you notice I put seasoned president in there, not old, seasoned. Okay, looks like about 39 of us have responded, and 38% are first-time presidents, 28% are seasoned presidents, 3% are secretaries, and 10% are treasurers, and then there's 21% that just did not have nothing better to do. Thank you. You're just a person after my own heart. Thank you. That was kind of fun. I need to do more of those, Karen. You have to teach me more. Okay. So how many of you have, I'm going to be using your skills now. How many of you have downloaded the Northwestern Region Leadership Handbook from the website? If you have, click your reaction button and put up your hand. Good job. Well, if you haven't, don't panic. You can do that after this workshop is complete. But in the meantime, I'm going to go ahead and have Governor-elect Karen go ahead and share her screen so that we can follow along. Go ahead and do that, Karen. Thank you. I always like to start a meeting with an objective. My objective is to provide an opportunity for newly elected officers to learn about leadership. Whether you're a new member or a member in good standing and long standing, our goal today is to give you the tools, new or updated, to feel comfortable sharing our wonderful organization with others. Our focus is to help women and girls take control of their lives and live their dreams. We can do this by improving their socioeconomic status through access to education that they need to move forward. And most importantly, always, always have fun. Embrace the journey of your membership and empower change in your club, in your community, and in your world. Okay, that's my rah-rah speech. Here we go. If you could go, you'll see that Karen's been kind of arrowing down. This is just basically a table of contents. We're going to go actually to page 7. So history is always important. It tells us where we've been, where we're going, and how we're charting the path to the future. So did you know that a man founded Seroptimus International of the Americas? It's just an amazing story. If you have not heard it, have not shared it with your club, you can get more information on the Northwestern Region website or even on SIA. So it's just a great story, and I'm just in awe of the women that chartered this first club. Okay. Members sometimes get so focused on their own communities that they forget that we're an international organization with over 75,000 Seroptimists worldwide in 122 countries. This is evident to me when I attended the Governor's Roundtable in Montreal, Canada with Marty Crook. At Seroptimus International Americas, we have 5 different language interpreters. Seeing governors and governor-elects from Japan, Korea, having the same mission as myself was really powerful. And even though I couldn't talk to them, they smiled. They were, I mean, you could tell that they were with the same thought that I was. So it's just a great feeling. On page 8. So this is a flow chart of, you'll notice that we now have 5 federations with the recent addition of Africa, which was a wonderful addition. So you'll see that we have Africa, the Americas, Great Britain and Ireland, Europe, Southwest Pacific, and we fall under the Americas, SIA, under Northwestern Region. Okay, page 9. Seroptimus International is the umbrella organization, what's made up of the 5 federations. Northwestern Region is one of 28 regions that make up the Seroptimus International of the Americas. Our region consists of an elected board, who was introduced to you earlier. Okay, on page 16. And obviously, I'm not going to read this page by page. I'm going to kind of hit the highlights, I hope. We should be at pretty close to club operation. Yeah, I think that's just fine. So we are looking at how many of you have read your bylaws, your club bylaws. Let's do it by a hand. When was the last time you updated those bylaws? Was it what, in the last year, last 2 years, last 5? You know, it's something that you do need to keep up on because things change all the time. So if you don't have it in your regular club, do have a bylaws committee that can look at your bylaws, that they can make sure that everything is updated. So how did you handle your officer elections? Did you do Zoom, or did you do snail mail, or were you able to meet in person? Most of us, the pandemic was pretty much going on pretty full force by the time the end of the year came around. So some people had not even installed their board of directors. So I encourage you, if you have not done so, please do, because that's important to let them know that they are leading your organization. Okay. And also, if you need some help with the bylaws committee, Stephanie Smith is our bylaws committee chair, and she can help you, her and her committee can help you with that. So you just need to just email her and she'd be happy to help. Okay, so club operations guidelines for presidents, page 18. Do we have all, there we go. I think I forgot to renumber everything when I downloaded it. So I have to fix that. Okay, so you'll see the club operation guidelines. And this is for the club presidents. You need to know some basic how-tos. You know, you need to, it's an honor being your president of your club. You need to represent your club openly at community events and meetings. You need to learn the bylaws well and become familiar with educational tools. You need to communicate promptly and effectively. Make your committee appointments wisely and prepare your planning calendar. Successful leadership depends upon careful planning. And I've had to learn that a lot in my career. So the better planning that you have, the better off you are. And I always like to remember, you must be fair, tactful, and just. And above all, be gentle and kind. Sometimes we're so busy with our responses that we are actually answering the question in our head before the other person has a chance to even ask the question. So please be gentle and kind. So just a little tip for the president. Okay, let's go to page 19, which is basic how-tos, teamwork. So remember, you don't have to do it all yourself. And if you try to, it won't work very well. You can practice the 4 C's of teamwork, which is consideration of others, collaboration and cooperation with others, concern for others, communication with others. Attitude, keep yours tolerant and good humored. Leading in a volunteer organization presents special challenges. And the last I heard, we're not getting paid for this. So, be kind. Organization, like I mentioned earlier, get organized early. Appoint coordinators and committees, follow up and communicate, organize yourself. Whatever method works for you, and be consistent. So, Northwest Region, I think we're going to the next one. Next, page 9, maybe 10. No, I must have had one out of place. I apologize, I did. Can you go back, Karen, to the clubs? That's what I get for getting my notes. See, I'm not prepared. I think it's back on page
Kristi,
9.
do you want to go all the way? Yeah, back to the club list?
Yes.
Okay.
No.
Sorry, everybody. We're just going to scroll back.
Yeah, sorry about that. There we go. So you see that Northwestern, I'm sorry, I lost my page, as you can see. So I got the page back. So the Northwestern region currently consists of 4 districts. It's all based on geography. Each district is divided into areas, and the next page. And the areas are vital to provide communication for the region and to the members. Keep going. I think it's, should be page 10. There it is. Okay, so you'll see that District 1 has area meetings, and you'll see they're split out by groups. And if you cannot attend a district meeting, a region conference, please try to attend the area meetings. You get lots of great information, and we like to hear from you, so please do so. Let's see, page 12, 11, 12. So why do we do what we do? We are a woman and girl focused organization. We have found that women and girls of our society who live in poverty and face discrimination because of their gender face even more obstacles. Our Northwestern mission statement is to provide members with leadership training and education, empowering them to promote and implement region identifying projects and to advance human rights and the status of women locally and globally in support of the SIA mission. I was wondering why we went past Road to Equality, so now we can do. Oh well. You know, you can only do so much. Okay, page 13. There we go. Through Optimist International, Road to Equality is the SI President's Appeal for 2019-2021. This appeal raises awareness for human right challenges that prevent women and girls from reaching their full potential, focusing on child marriage, female genital mutilation, human trafficking, and domestic violence, to name a few. We can turn up the volume of our global voice by supporting President-elect Sharon Fisher in the December 10th President's Appeal. Is she president now? Yes, she's president now. See, I hadn't updated my slide. Okay, we can participate in Dream It programs, which include Live Your Dream and the Dream It Be It. Live Your Dream assists women in primary financial responsibility of their families to obtain skills, training, and education necessary to improve their employment status and their standard of living, bringing about permanent change. Change in the Live Your Dream funding from SIA. Each region will receive a $5,000 for a top region candidate. An additional $3,000 region awards will be based on the number of awards that are given by the region. So if you currently only gave one award, consider giving 2 or maybe 3, maybe dividing them out so more girls are empowered. The Northwestern region is also committed to providing $1,500 additional Live Your Dream rewards annually, and these are usually presented at the region conference. Dream It Be It targets girls in secondary school who face obstacles for their future success. I just read something that basically it's a goal setting and confidence building and role mentoring. And it really kind of struck me as like, well, wouldn't that been nice when I was that age to have that role model in my life, to know that somebody else had that career focus and how do I get there? So it was really it's a wonderful program. And let's see. So I'm sure that all of you have heard about the Dream Big program, and the Dream Big program is now including some of those club works that you have done in the past that have not been counted. So I encourage you to go to the SIA website and look for the Dream Big projects that might qualify. So you can be counted in the Dream Big effort. Okay, we should be on page about 20 now. Think we can skip. While we're skipping, does anybody have any questions? They want to raise their hand or put something in the chat.
Do you have a question? How do we get the equality pins? That would be the Road to Equality pins.
Last I heard, Sharon Fisher had some pins there, and you could contact her, and I'm sure that she would send you one. But I don't know other than that. But she did express that she had some and that you could get them there. Oh, and Becky just told me Sue Riney would also have availability for some. Thank you. Okay. So I'd like to specifically touch on communication. One of my region goals is to get members to register for the website and constant contact. That way they know what's happening in the region. Also, like us on Facebook, make sure you use the one that has my chart logo, charting our way. The public awareness team is doing a great job keeping up with the posts, but they are looking for more members. You know, they can only do so much. They have full-time jobs, and it's a lot easier if you have more people to hand that out to. So if you're interested in Facebook or working on the website or doing some public awareness information, please contact you can contact Governor-elect Karen, and she can put you in touch with the proper person. Okay, it's sure an easier job when you have a lot more hands. So when you have new members, you need to really make part of their new member orientation to get them logged into the Northwestern region and constant contact. This is how you get my blasts about what's going on, what's happening, where to find what. So I encourage you to use those methods of communication. Okay, now we can go to the sample agenda. Sorry, Karen. Karen's been in Denver. I've been here, and so we've been kind of going back and forth. So I apologize.
Sorry about that. Yeah.
No, it's okay. All right. So presidents, why should you have an agenda? Well, to me, if I'm leading the meeting, I want some sort of an outline of to keep myself on track to make sure that I get everything in that I need to get in. It saves you a valuable time, and having the structure, it's easier for the secretary to keep minutes. As Wendy will tell you, it's very important to have an agenda. She can keep me on track. Okay, so we went ahead and included a sample of a general meeting agenda, and you can kind of scroll through it. You see it has call to order, opening, meetings, sometimes openings, and I've always liked to have inspirations, sometimes appropriate, if appropriate, Pledge of Allegiance. But I understand now that we're not doing the Pledge of Allegiance anymore because we are an international group and not everybody is in the United States. So we're doing, so that can be not eliminated. If you'd like to do the Pledge of Allegiance, it's certainly okay. But I just wanted you to know it's okay if you do not do that too. You'll see minutes, treasurer's report, reports from the board, the standing committees, any special committees. You'll see, go ahead, next page. Any unfinished business. For instance, we might have had said something that let's say was tabled until the following meeting. I see that Denise from Friday Harbor has her hand up. Do you need to ask a question, Denise? Go ahead and unmute.
We've also gotten chat.
I actually tried to get in there earlier, but when no one saw my hand, I just actually put it in chat if you just want to read the chat.
I can do that.
Okay.
Governor Kristi, if you want to jump back, are we okay? Or do you want to finish this segment?
It was about the last statement, sorry.
No problem. Sorry about that. So the question is about the Dream Big goal. Do we have to apply for this? I believe one of the goals is to retain a certain number of members. Do we automatically get this award through our dues renewal, or do we need to do something special to apply for this reward?
Okay, there's a couple questions in there. The Dream Big has nothing to do with the retention, with your club roadmap. And the club roadmap is 85% membership maintained. It has to do with your making a Live Your Dream award, and it also Dream It Be It program if possible. And it also talks about, I believe, public relations. I don't have it right here with me at the time. The Dream Big program, and I see that Sue Riney is on the line and she would like to speak to that just really quickly. She's welcome to do so, but she has probably more information than I do. But the Dream Big program, the way I'm understanding it, is those programs that maybe had not been able to be counted in the past towards the 500,000 girls that we're trying to reach in the next 10 years. So we're looking at like I've seen programs for scholarships that maybe are granted by clubs to women that are outside the Live Your Dream program that maybe are they wouldn't necessarily be able to go to school unless they did have this award. And they let's see, what's another, maybe it's a program that involves girls, like Girls on the Run is a program, I believe, in Port Orchard. Do you have any other suggestions or things that you want to share? I can't see the chat. So.
We've got a couple of other questions that are directly related to agendas.
Oh, before we go on, did I answer your question?
Kind of. I'll consult one of the more seasoned presidents about it. Thank you.
Okay.
Okay. So we've got questions, and lots of people have these questions. This first question is, where are we with the Seroptimus Grace and Seroptimus Pledge? And is the Seroptimus Pledge different than the Pledge of Allegiance? A second question.
Yes. It is. Actually, the Seroptimus Pledge was actually done by, I believe, a member from Northwestern Region back in the day. It's not necessary to do them in your regular agendas. However, the seasoned members, I personally like to hear it, because I like to hear it, just like I like to hear the Pledge of Allegiance. But it's up to your club to decide what to do, what you want to do. Like I said, you can do it either way. But the pledge is different than the Seroptimus Pledge, which is different grace. And the grace is just a prayer, basically, before a meal. Does that answer your question?
That's all the questions we have at this moment.
I see that Kathleen from Seattle met say they're adding the pledge into special meetings, so which is great. I think that's just fine. But it's not required. Is there any other questions before we go on?
I'm not seeing any in chat, and I don't see any hands raised at this point.
Denise, if you want to put a little bit more detail in the chat, maybe we can get to your question to get it answered. Okay. You'll see that we have new business, and then you'll see sometimes I'll do a program. Sometimes they will do announcements, and then adjournment. So it's pretty straightforward. Okay. You'll see that we have included our Northwestern Region Club and President timeline and checklist. If you'll see in September, there's a reminder to the treasurer to file state and federal tax form where applicable by November 15th. You'll see in September, recruitment and retention plans begin for member mixers and recruiting events. You see, well, they have Founders Day on here, which of course everybody is aware of. Our 100th anniversary is coming up, and we are celebrating. So hopefully you'll be sharing that. But this is a very good little calendar to keep by to make sure that you don't miss anything, because you have committees that are in charge of, like, Live Your Dream. But you have to remember, you need to check in with those committees, see how they're doing. Do they need any help? Sometimes they face challenges and they don't know how to proceed. So that's just a little tip to make sure that you check in with those committees to see if they need any help. Okay. All right. Go ahead and keep going. Okay, keep going. So then we have this transition checklist, which I just love. It's for the outgoing presidents. How many of your outgoing presidents did this for you? Did they make sure that the club post office box key was passed to you? Did they do your club email for you? This is a little checklist that's just great. You can see that there's forms and documents, where to find them, where's the hard copies. You'll see, decisions on roster. You'll see year-end treasurer report. You can actually provide one-on-one training for smooth transition and club stability. Help them. It doesn't mean you're done. It means that you need to help them succeed. So I'm hoping that your outgoing presidents helped you. If not, buy them a cup of coffee and say, I need some help. Okay. Page 27. So you can see that we have different job descriptions for different positions in organization. You'll see, of course, you saw president. This is a vice president or president-elect. What they do, generally the president-elect is in charge of club meetings as far as, program and things like that. And just a little tips on for them and how to set that all up. Every club is different, but you need to make sure somebody is in charge. So you need to make sure that somebody is going to be greeting your speaker, introducing yourself, and, make sure that they are introduced at the appropriate time. Okay. And page 20, keep going. And so all clubs are different. You'll see that I have this under vice president and president-elect. You could have several different committees. So don't panic and say, I'm in charge of that. Keep going. Okay, so here we are, secretary. Do this and don't do that. You'll see that you don't write every conversation down at the meeting. You are basically recording information for the future. So you need to make sure that you're distinct and prompt in your minutes. Make sure that, for instance, you don't want to say Aunt Sally had a bake sale at Saturday on the 22nd or something like that. You want, if it has nothing to do with Sirocco, you don't want it in the minutes. So just remember that. Keep them very professional. Okay. Let's see. All right. So I do like to, before we go on, I'd like to ask a question, and people can raise their hands. How many are using the cloud to keep your records? Is anybody using the cloud? There's a couple people I see. Okay. And how many of you have files in somebody's basement that haven't been looked at in years? Yeah. I encourage you, please. Those are records of your club. It would be a shame if something happened to them or something happened to you and your children came in, didn't know what was going on, and dumped everything because they didn't realize what those records were. So, it takes a while. The Northwestern region started 4 years ago, something like that. We now have all of our records on the cloud, which makes it so much easier than trying to dig through those minutes, to find something, and to see what happened when. So with it being on the cloud, it's a lot easier. We happen to use the Amazon cloud, which is free. So keep that in mind and maybe have a special ad hoc committee that can get this done for you. So let's see. All right. Treasurer. the job nobody volunteers for. Is it true? I know we didn't have very many treasurers on the call when we first started. So I want to commend you. You are wonderful, wonderful people. This is really a hard job. I think Becky Taft is currently on right now. She joined us. And she actually has posted a treasurer's handbook to the website. And she will, I think, I'm not sure, she will be happy to answer any questions that you might have. And if you have, and she has wonderful articles on our newsletter, the Woman newsletter, that is published monthly. We have lots of good information in there. So I'm hoping that people take time to get signed up for Constant Contact so they get these important communications. Okay, so keep going. I think we have a sample budget, don't we? Yeah, there we go. Okay, so this is just a sample club budget. Actually, I have to say that a friend of mine, it was Janet Shemp, Paul Shemp, told me that we have an error on this particular slide. And she said that where it says fundraiser proceeds, it should just say gross fundraiser gross income. We want to make sure that the income is income and expenses are expenses, so that it just makes it really clear. And so I want to thank Janet for showing me that, and so we'll get that corrected in the next publishing of the handbook. Thank you. All right. Let's see. All right, let's see here. Committees. This is how we really get all of our work done. This is also a good training ground for future leaders in your club. How many of you have had a fundraising event that you've had a chair at and they were fabulous? Well, that can be translated into a treasurer's position, secretary position, president-elect president. It just takes encouragement and sometimes just to ask. Sometimes you don't know until you ask somebody if they really want to be do a position. So don't forget to ask. Let's see. Let's go to 38. Yeah. Okay. Page 38. Technology tips. I think we're supposed to, yeah, did we add the Zoom to our technology tips? I don't think we have. I think we forgot about that, Karen. You might make a note.
It's kind of a separate, there's a separate file on Zoom
Okay.
in the region members only section.
Okay.
But I think
great.
it needs to be updated.
Yeah, we probably need to update the handbook too. Okay. So you'll see that we have the Seroptimus Club email account. Please make sure that you are using that club email account. This is how you're being communicated with from SIA, also with the Northwestern region. So if you're not signed up for it, this is a really quick guideline on how to get signed up. It's very easy. If you got locked out or whatever, you can call Seroptimus SIA headquarters, and they'll be happy to help you out. Okay, go ahead and go on.
Governor Kristi, we actually have a question back on committees.
Okay, go ahead.
From Denise, do you want to ask it or do you have your hand
Yeah,
raised?
sorry, it's me again. Apologize for so many questions, but as I responded, I am new this year. So a couple of the older, more seasoned presidents have told me I'm not supposed to serve on a committee as the president, but my fundraising committee, while it's wonderful, I think I have the most connections and bring in the most money of everyone. So I continue to stay on it. And the last few years, I've always noticed that our presidents have been on a committee. So what is the actual bottom line on that real answer?
My recommendation is presidents not be chairs of those committees. They can be on the committee,
Chair.
but not the chair.
Okay.
It's really too much for you to be president and to be chair at the same time. And this way,
I agree.
yeah,
You can
and
be on a committee.
yes, absolutely, you can be on a committee. And
Thank
some of
you.
them, there's some places that don't have that many people, so they need everybody on that committee. So as long as you're not, the chair of that committee, I think it's just fine. And they understand if you cannot, let's say it's donations or something, and you have other responsibilities or whatever, they can take it over as long as they know that. Does that answer your question?
Absolutely. Thank you, because
You're
that
welcome.
has been concerning through the entire process so far.
Okay. Any other questions?
None in chat.
Okay. All right. Let's go ahead and go on. Okay. There's just different tips in here, how to convert your newsletter to a JPEG, to do a Facebook post. There's a Northwestern Region website. There's recognition and branding tools. But here's my very, very favorite, Parliamentary Procedure. Okay, I just saw those eyes roll back in your head, didn't I? Why do we have Parliamentary Procedure? Okay, I'll just answer. Because I muted you all, right? Parliamentary procedure allows everyone to be heard and to make decisions without confusion. Sometimes we are very strong women, and we sometimes have a tendency to talk over one another. And sometimes the person in the back of the room with the quietest voice doesn't get heard. Those are the people I'm concerned about, because they're the ones that maybe have that next great idea, but hasn't had a chance to express herself or express an opinion about a certain function of the club. So this allows everybody to have a place at the table. So you'll see that there's some parliamentary procedure that's in here. It's just a management protocol. So just make sure that you are following. You can just use these. You can go online. You'll see that there's 8 steps to action for a voting procedure. That way everything is clear and you know exactly what you are, what you're voting on. Yes. Okay. All right.
Governor Kristi, we have a couple of great questions here.
Okay.
Actually, one question and then there's some comments. So I think everyone probably saw this if you're monitoring chat, but where can you find the guidelines for Zoom meetings? Should they be in bylaws or standing rules?
I would say they should be in standing rules. The Zoom is very much a procedure. It's a way of communicating. A bylaw, if you think about it, is something that has to be voted on by the membership because it's a big change. But if it's just a standing rule, it can actually be done by the governing body, like the board of directors. Like they might decide that they might need to do Zoom meetings for the rest of the year. That could be a decision of the board. It doesn't have to be voted on by the membership. Does that make sense? I hope so. This is weird. Okay. All right. You'll see there's lots of resources, and I encourage you to go into the Seroptimus International of the Americas. They actually have some wonderful toolkits that you can use, and please take a look at them when you have a chance. Okay, so let's just talk briefly about club netiquette and club protocol. So we sometimes hear that, well, we don't need to do that, you know, or like parliamentary procedure. Oh, we don't need to do that in our club. It's kind of old fashioned, and you know, we don't have to have a quorum to vote. You do, and it's in your bylaws. So you'll see that I just put in some protocols, and when you're writing and you're communicating via the computer, it is really, really easy to forget that these are real people and have feelings. And it's okay to express your opinions, but please be sensitive to the feelings of others. Sometimes, personally, my HR personality comes through here, but if there's something that really inflamed you on an email that was just sent to you, wait 24 hours before responding, because sometimes it's not as important the second day, and you can respond in a calm manner to make it easier for both of you. Sometimes it's really hard to take back those reply all. Don't do that. In my business, it got them fired to a reply all, so be careful. Okay, dealing with offensive messages. It happens. I think that sometimes we forget that we can pick up the phone and talk to people as opposed to shooting an email. Sometimes, you know, they think email is impersonal. It's not. And sometimes it's better if you have to have a critical conversation with somebody, do it in person. This is my personal preference. If you can't do it in person, do it over the phone. You know, if you need to talk to somebody, I think that would be more appropriate. Okay. All right, go ahead and scroll on. All right, keep going. Handling messages. You see there's a question. You want to go ahead and read it, Karen?
Sure. Are there any written Zoom guidelines, procedures for clubs we can use to help incorporate into standing rules?
Go ahead, you can answer that one.
There are some guidelines if you're doing online meetings, no matter what type of platform. And the biggest rule I want to say from our online club and in general is that you need to make sure that, you know, you're calling roll if you're doing a vote, that everybody's voice is heard. But I think that SIA in their digital toolkit, I'm pretty sure they have some good information now about that too. If not, you can always follow up with me because I've got some documentation on that as well.
Okay, you want to roll back up to the top of this page? We have a little bit of Northwestern rule tips. You know, send invitations if you're having a fundraiser for your club. Send a courtesy copy to the district director. You know, send one if you're having a fundraiser. You know, send it to, you know, the director, or even to me, to governor-elect. You never know where I'm at. I might stop in, especially if it's in person. At awards, programs and installations, you know, always invite the district director. And, you know, as the region has funds and we can travel, we'll be happy to join you on some of those installations if necessary. I've done a couple installations via Zoom. It can be done. Okay. You'll see that we have some introductions. If you do have a guest, it's important that you use the following protocol. So you'll see commonly when you're at the district meeting, they will always introduce the governor last. And so even if it's the district director's meeting, they'll do the city and government official, and then they'll do the past governors, and they'll do the director, and then they'll do treasurer, secretary, governor-elect, and myself. So it's just a little protocol just to be thinking about if you're introducing anybody. Make sure that you introduce them properly. Okay. We also have some SIA protocols. And you see it says begin and close the meetings on time. I am watching my time and I have about 5 minutes. Use correct terminology. We're seroptimists. We're members. We're not sisters or girls. We are clubs, not chapters. We are the Northwestern region, not the Northwest. We are a federation, not national or federal. We have a pledge, not a creed or a motto. We attend club or area meetings, district meetings, region conferences, federal or international conventions. We elect region officers, not regional officers. And we believe in seroptimists. Okay. Let's see. So before I go into questions, I do have an announcement, and I saw that Donna Roncut was on the line. So I wondered if she would like to make the announcement herself. Donna, are you there? You can unmute and do your invite.
Governor Kristi, sorry, do you want me to stop the share of this, the leadership
Yes.
handbook now? Okay.
Yes.
I'm stuffing my face, so that's why I had my camera off. I just wanted to share with all of you a program opportunity for your clubs, depending on how this rolls for you. But I used to belong to the Desert Coast region until I came up here to the best region, Northwestern region. But because of that, I've had an opportunity to work with a lot of the past SIA presidents. They seem to conglomerate down in Desert Coast region. And Sam Buchanan, who, for those of you who don't know her, she's a past SIA president and a complete Seropta-wonk, as she calls herself. She likes the bylaws part of everything. She was my governor-elect, and she is a really wonderful speaker and a great workshop presenter. And quite a few years ago, she presented a workshop on entitled Where the Money Goes in SIA. And I know a lot of members, especially the new ones, but even some of the crankier older ones like me, are always, gee, if are they nickel and diming us? And gee, we pay this money to the Federation, where's it going to? And so she does a really great workshop on where that money goes, why it's important to understand it, and takes it from receipt to what happens with it, how it gets distributed, and what the outcomes are of it. And it was really, really helpful for experienced members like myself and brand new members as well to have a better understanding of what SIA is spending the money on and why it is such a good investment. So if you are interested in having that as a program for one of your club meetings or for just a gathering of seroptimists, it's going to be February 22nd.
It is February 22nd at 12 o'clock.
It's Thursday. Thank you. It's Thursday. It's on a Thursday because that's when our club happens to meet. So it's on a Thursday. It'll be at noon. It's about 30 minutes. She keeps it pretty concise. But of course she's going to do it via Zoom. So we have an opportunity for everyone to do it. I am going to put together a written handout with the Zoom link and all of that as it gets a little bit closer. And I will send that out to club presidents or whatever emails I happen to have for your clubs. But if you want to contact me directly as well, just send me an email. I'll make sure that you're incorporated in that. But it's going to be well worthwhile. And if you're struggling for programs, this is a really great one. Or if, like me, you're trying to really incorporate a lot more seroptimist type programs instead of just community programs, this will be really helpful. And she's a really, really great presenter. So I think you'll really enjoy her as well. So I'm just passing that out. I'm going to put my email address in the chat. And that way, if you want to be included in that information pass out, just send me an email.
I also want to add to that. I'd be happy to do an email blast for you, Donna. If you want to send that information to me, I'll do it through Constant Contact through all the club presidents. So they'll all have that information.
That will be great. Thank you so much. I will definitely do that.
So we have a few minutes of time for any other questions. We just kind of did a cursory review of the handbook. I encourage you to look it over. If you have any questions at all, let me know. Denise, I'm really glad to hear your questions. I'm always interested to see what a new president has to say. So you did not answer. I hope I answered your questions well. If not, send me an email. I'll be happy to address them more at that time. So does anybody else have any questions? You can put it through the chat or you can put up your hand.
I see we're getting lots of questions about the online meetings, and I've just been doing a little digging. We'll get some resources put up on the Northwestern Region website. I think I'm going to go ahead and drop one document in the chat that I just pulled up. But thank you all for saying that you'd like better resources for that.
Well, great. Well, I am on time, so I am going to say goodnight and thank you all for attending. I hope this has been informational for you. And again, have a nice evening. Thank you very much. And Karen, you can stop the recording.